it's Tommy Allen from TommyAllenMusic.com. Welcome. This week we have a friend of mine, Pete Welland, harmonica player from down south. He used to go to jam sessions and stuff together around West London. Come and check it out. Thanks for having us, Pete.
No problem. You're welcome, mate. Good to see your face. Long time.
Yeah, it has been a long time. Look,
long time no see.
I bet we both changed since we saw each other last.
Yeah, I've gone grey, mate. Yeah, much less hair than then, you know. Yeah. You haven't changed, Tommy.
I don't know. But it's we had a quick talk the other night. It was back in Richmond, so it would have been the mid to late 90s. It would have been
mid-90s, yeah. The Red Lion Jam. I sort of started. I was actually, at the time, I was working in a duo, and I wasn't working days then. I did about kind of 4 years or so with a mate of mine, Joe, and we would do pubs, clubs, bars, parties, you know, doing covers really, bit of everything. We were working, doing a venue that a landlord owned a few of these places, and one of them was a Red Lion. So he asked me one day would I be prepared to go over there and try a kind of musicians jam day, you know. I said, yeah, I would do that, you know. There's a way of earning a few quid and starting it, you know, and working on a Sunday lunchtime. And it became the sort of Red Lion Blues Jam, yeah, which was a brilliant meeting place. In fact, most harmonica players that I know in the area, I met through that place, or they came down to, you know, check the jam out. So that was indeed about 95, Tommy. I think 94 was something I started that. So
why did you pick up the harmonica? What?
Well, I picked up the harmonica really because I played guitar. My father, Tommy, played in bands, so I grew up with from the age of 5 really, seeing band equipment all around the house. And as a little boy with my eldest brother, there were 5 of us, 5 kids. The others were too young, so we were allowed, myself and my eldest brother, to go with my mum and see my dad play at weekends and evenings, which in them days would have been, you know, social clubs, working men's clubs. He did that sort of circuit, 4-piece rock and roll band, so it was always there, you know. And I used to nick his guitar, and then when I was about 10 years old, he actually bought me an acoustic guitar and said, you know, get on with it yourself. So I thought, brilliant, you know. So I was in bands at school, playing guitar, always singing, and harmonica came really through a friend of mine called Keith Tice, who I know you know, sadly not with us anymore, he passed on. And I was playing in kind of rock blues bands with Keith, and I was playing bass guitar at the time with him, and vocals. No one else wanted to sing in the band. There was a guy, Joe, who I spoke about doing the duo stuff, and a drummer called Pete Thompson, and Keith was in the band, so we were a 4-piece. And we were always sifting through material at his house, and you know, trying to find new sort of tracks to cover, blah blah. And he put some music on, which was, I found out, Fabulous Thunderbirds.
Right. Okay.
So and I heard it. I thought this is brilliant. You know, we've got to do some of this. And I could hear this sound going on. You know, I kind of guessed, you know, it was a harmonica, amplified harmonica, but I didn't really know much about the sound. I was only just past my mid-20s when I bought my first one, so that was 92, and started messing around with it whilst I was duoing every evening, really, and playing in a duo to earn some bucks and pay my rent. And I had all day really, other than booking more gigs, and we were busy. The duo, I did keep working, you know, every night basically for some years, no time off, and I basically played harp in the day.
Right. Okay.
And got into, you know, slowly. It was Paul Butterfield, probably my first cassettes I had then, albums, and Sonny Boy Williamson, and I was fumbling around trying to make head or tail of the stuff, you know, how they were playing it, you know, couldn't work most of it out, didn't know this and that. So that's how it started, yeah. But it was actually hearing, you know, a sort of later band as such, you know, the T-Birds, Fabulous T-Birds, that really made me want to do it. They had a real kind of edgy, you know, 50s pop rock and roll blues thing going on. I thought it was cool, you know, it was good. So I thought,
because I never knew you played guitar until sort of you just said.
Oh right, yeah. Since I was a kid, yeah. Well, I had to play it, Tommy. Growing up, it was just as a tool really to sort of sing songs to, which is, my dad sang in a band and basically did the same thing. He had a lead guitar player in a band, but he always had an acoustic guitar at home, and so I did a duo, switching between bass and electroacoustic all night, and singing, sort of main vocals. So
right, yeah. So can you remember what the first thing was you learnt on the harmonica?
The first thing, I think the first thing I learned in it was probably. I don't know, Three Blind Mice. Sonny, I can remember the first track I wanted to learn was Sonny Boy, Royce Miller, Keep It to Yourself, because I had it and on a cassette, and I played it over and over, and I was absolutely mesmerised to what he was doing. I couldn't do it, couldn't work out. I found out later about bending notes and that kind of stuff, was all part of it. But, it's magic, isn't it? When you hear it and you can't do it and you want to know the secret, you dive in there and... the learning and everything is all part of the kind of, the lure, the magic.
Did you have any tuition on the harmonica?
Well, at that time, about 92, I started messing about with it, and there was a venue that was having circuit bands in the town where I lived, and one of the first bands I saw, I went down there was. A harp player called Pete Welland, who was in a band called Medicine Head back in the 70s, if I'm correct. And he was the first sort of live English harmonica player I saw, and I thought it was great. So I thought, right, I like this, I'm going to come back here, nights I'm not working, check out the live music. They then had Big Joe Louie and the Blues Kings. I saw them, so I saw Little George.
Yep.
Then I saw Paul Lamb there with the King Snakes. I think it was a King Snakes, and this would have been, again, sort of early 90s, yeah. And none of those guys would give lessons, but there was a fella in the audience who got chatting to me, and he said, I play. He said, Paul won't give you a lesson. And he said, he's too busy, he's out working. He said, but I might do. And I said, who are you? So he said, my name's Lee. It was Lee Sankey.
Oh, okay.
So I sort of became mate with Lee, and I did go up to his apartment flat some months later. I took his card number and kind of put it to the back of my mind. I thought, no, I don't want a lesson. But still being frustrated, I went to him, and I had one lesson with him, which consisted of him recording stuff on a cassette player and give me the tape to go home with, really sort of simple exercises. And I thought, it's not really where I'm at. But I've got him to thank for this, because on the end of that tape, was a live album by Rob Piazza and the Mighty Flyers, and it kind of cut off the listen and went into that. I thought, this is it. I want to play that. That's the kind of stuff. It's sort of big fat hip harp sound, and it was that, and that was a sort of Bible. I just started listening to that stuff, and all day. If I wasn't gigging duo in the evening, I was playing harp in the day. So I just sort of immersed myself in it. I think at that time, and it's still true today, the likes of Piazza, Kim Wilson, the Thunderbirds, William Clark, who's not with us anymore, were the greatest players, alive and out there working.
You got Linwood Slim as another one, didn't you? See?
Linwood, yeah, I mean, so many. Linwood Slim now, guys, Paul DeLay, Steve Geiger.
Knockout Greg, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Knockout Greg. From Sweden?
Yes, I'm not so familiar with them. Yeah, but I mean, there were so many, Tommy. But I mean, to me, the big guys, that were kind of getting the albums out and taking the festivals and the circuits. Those bands really, the T-Birds. Certainly Rob Piazza. He was quite innovative, and William Clark, just unbelievable, really. I think they were the heavyweights, put it that way.
Right.
There's so many great players. But,
so you're more of an amp player than a sort of stick mic, or?
No, I play. I don't really mind. Acoustic. I play a 410 Bassman amp like so many art players. It's a good workhorse. It's got enough sort of oomph if you're performing live against a band.
Has it had its mods done on it? As its mods?
On this one, no. I have had in the past a mod done on another Bassman which I sold, to a mate of yours, John Vaughan.
Yeah. Is that where they cut
it's good,
Is that where they cut one of the capacitors to take the top end off?
I think there's a few things, Tommy. I bought this one that I've got now from a guitar player, and it was set up for him, and I've had nothing done with it really, you know, other than put a couple of new valves in it. So far so good. Touch wood. It sounds alright. I like the sound of it.
Okay. And do you use any pedals like the delay?
I'm a stickler for the old 80s Boss DM2 analog delay, the old purple one.
Yep.
They got rubbish delay, you know. They give a very short sort of delay sound, but whatever's in it, it to me, you know, makes the amp sound better, enhances it. These things always have some kind of, you know, whether it's a preamp going on or something. But yeah, it's cool. I like it.
Okay. And what about harmonicas? Standard.
From day one, really. Hona Marine bands, the old stuff, you know. One of those. Boom.
Okay.
Traditional wood body.
I wouldn't know one from the other probably, but how many different makes are there of them? Is there?
What, harps?
Yeah.
Oh, right. More manufacturers now, Tommy. There's you got likes of Suzuki, Herring, Hona, Seidel, Huang, Swan. Yeah.
So there's loads
of lots, and some of those guys have been around for decades. You know, Seidel I think is possibly older than Hona, another German company. But
right.
Hona's for me. You know, the marine bands really.
So what do you do? Like as a beginner, if we want to pick up the harmonica, what would you say the first thing to do on it would be? A scale or just
a scale? Yeah, maybe got one here. Maybe something simple like first position harmonica. Maybe what we've got here, B flat harp. So playing in the key of B flat. You could try a simple do re mi scale.
Right.
Now, if you start it on the middle register of the harp, say on the 4 hole to the 7, that's an octave apart.
Right.
You're blowing 2 notes an octave, and if you play the do re mi scale between the 4 hole and the 7 hole, it's just blow draw blow draw blow draw draw blow.
Right.
So you get. But then if you tell them to do it on the bottom end, on the 1 hole of the 4, it's the same. It's an octave, but half the notes are missing. So that's where you have to learn to do the note bending style. So if you want to do it on the bottom of the harmonica, you've got to do so you've got to learn the note bending there, which is basically changing the shape of your mouth, your embouchure inside your mouth, which makes the reeds resonate at a different pitch.
Right. Okay.
So you can actually get a few notes that are missing on it, basically. They're generally there on the top register, but on the bottom they're missing. So.
And what about for playing blues at the start of that? Do you play blues scale or
is it blues scale?
Is it in the third position? Is that?
Third position's a blues. So if you're on if I'm on this harmonica, a B flat,
you play an F. Yeah.
You actually playing? No, that's second position.
Right.
So that's
okay.
Second. Third position, you'd be in the key of C, the band would.
Oh, so you're playing the 7th? No.
Yeah. So if you're in second position, your root note you start on, which is the F, as you rightly said, the 2 hole draw. So you do a scale.
Right.
If you're in third position, you're in C. So you go. You're in the key of C there, so your root note's your 1 hole draw.
Right.
First position, your 1 hole blow. That's key of B flat.
Right.
So I'm pretty rubbish outside of those 3 keys, really. You know.
Well, I think that's the most though for most blues, isn't it? Them 3,
blues,
right?
Yeah. Yes, a lot of players like that's third position. So key of C on the diatonic. A lot of players play. That's the same key. B flat's a chromatic.
Right.
Third position, so you get a bit of a more of a kind of organ-like sound, I suppose. But same position. Most blues players you see them, they generally play third position on the chromatic.
Yeah.
There's sort of plenty of scale available to them there in third, you know. So.
Well, yeah, but it's good for people that are starting out to get a quick idea of, you know, where to begin and see if they like it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, my advice is, you know, get with other. There's so much available online now. It's not the easiest instrument when you start out because, of course, unlike a guitar or piano, drums, you can't see what's going on, you know, and the sort of technique and the bits that are all hidden. They're inside your mouth, as you're breathing, etc. Blah blah. The only bit that's visible really are any sort of hand effects. If you know, you see these guys taking their hand on and off the harmonica, you know, which gives that kind of like a wah wah effect that a guitar player would have. You
know. When you see your cheeks moving in now, what's that? You can see your cheeks. Is that like a tremolo? Like what?
That's you making a funny noise.
Is it like
a tremolo? Yeah, you can play the notes straight. Or you can use your what's it called? Your you've got this, or you know, to
Yeah. So what is that? What are you doing there then?
Huh?
So what are you doing there then?
I guess I'm just what's the word? Like to me, it's like you get a high and low current, like an AC current. So you're actually shutting your air off or lessening it on and off. You know, so but using your throat, you're getting that with your throat. So
it's great sound. It's great sound though. So have you written any of your stuff, any of your own songs?
Oh yeah, I mean with my band, I formed a band with my drummer still with me, Dave. We formed the Magnetones back in about '97. Dave was drumming with me at the Red Lion. We spoke about doing the weekend blues get-togethers, and we did our first album, which is called Take Your Pick. We finished it about January 1999, and I think there was 13 tracks on that. We wrote them all. I wrote them all except for two. Dave wrote one or two on there as well. I think we had one cover on there, which was a little water instrumental, which I think was Fast Boogie, it was called.
Right.
And the rest was original. So we did another one then in 2003 called Custom Built. These were CDs, Tom. We were sending them, you know, online or you know, gigging around and pushing the CDs that way. Our second one was called Custom Built again, and I think it was about 11 of the 13 that myself wrote, and Dave put a few on that actually himself. Wrote I think 3 of them on that.
Right.
Then we did another one 2008 called Slow Down Baby. I had a bit of a home studio, and also there was a studio called Embassy Studios who I got to know the studio through a friend of mine, Bill Crittenden, who's a singer guitar player. Actually played guitar with us for a little while, and we did half the album called Slow Down Baby there, and half I did at home really in my own studio. I had a 32 track analog disc and a 24 track 1-inch tape Tascam and a digital 24 track as well.
Right.
Not much in the way of effects. I think I was using the Purple Delay DM2 for a studio for you know, echo and stuff. It was pretty basic, but yes, we did another, I think, 16 track CD with that one, and probably only about 7 or 8 maybe on that homegrown tunes, and then another one in 2010 which was really more geared towards Bill, who I just spoke of, who was a real kind of 50s rock and roll guy. So a lot of it was really up-tempo rocking stuff, you know. But I managed to squeeze about 2 or 3 sort of shuffles in that, you know. So I wrote 2 or 3 blues shuffles and put those in, and the rest were generally covers, sort of rocking stuff, you know. But yeah, so you know, we recorded, but we certainly wrote stuff with the Magnetones and performed it at the gigs, you know.
Where are you gigging now? What sort of area?
Well, before the lockdown, we were we were going back to old haunts. What I did was I took a step back from it, really, Tommy. Life, relationships,
Yeah.
I wasn't busy with it for a while, running a band. I was just really going out and depping, so I was playing with various sort of blues bands, whoever would have me, to go out and play harmonica, and some vocals. And then I moved to the Cotswolds about 3 years ago, and I was nearer Dave than my old drummer, so we hooked up again and said, let's get the magnetones out again, gigging. So I said, yeah, great. So we got our old original bass player back. He's not too far from us, and we hooked up with a cool guitar player, a guy called Jan Rottier. So we're a 4-piece, and we had gigs lined up around here, some bars and clubs in the southwest, and Southampton, and then of course lockdown happens. We were just getting it going really and building it up. So hopefully it'll all slot in place once this is over.
Right. Okay. Times, and do you have a website that's live?
We're building at the moment. We're doing our Facebook and band page. So we're actually having to get together, I believe, this coming week to do some current pictures instead of putting photos of me when I was about
2 meters apart. 2 meters apart, I hope.
Yeah, this is it. So it's going to be an outdoor shot. Do some sort of group shots, current shots, photographs, and then we've also went down just before lockdown. We went into a studio and recorded 5 Chicago blues covers. So they're going to go up on the page. So it's sort of watch this space, but it's Facebook Messenger. It's Pete G and the Magnetones are paid. So we'll get that up ASAP. Hopefully in the next sort of 6-7 days we'll have it for people to visit. So if they watch out for it, yeah.
And do you do harmonica lessons or anything?
No, I haven't done for some time really, Tommy. I mean, I think these days there are so many sort of online tutors and guys that I know, friends as well that play. They do great sort of online tutoring. But if there's anyone out there that really wants a sort of one-to-one,
well, how do they get hold of you?
Pete G Welland at hotmail.co.uk email.
Okay.
Well, which will be again on the I'm on Facebook. All my contact details are on there. Give us a call. Drop us an email, and absolutely.
That's good.
It's all good fun.
So when we get out of this lockdown, then you sounds like you got it pretty planned.
Yeah.
So that's good. You gonna record when you get out?
Yeah, we've
done 5, you said, but
we've done 5. The idea is that they just cover some classic covers. Dave has this sort of thing that when we go out and gig now. He does the sort of gig theme tribute to the Masters. So we're doing stuff like obviously Little Walter, Jimmy Rogers, John Brim, Sonny Boy, and it's all that kind of stuff. So we did 5 tracks. I think we recorded Jimmy Rogers Walking by Myself. So some real standards, Act Like You Love Me, Jimmy Rogers, Little Walter, Blues with a Feeling, Sonny Boy Williamson.
What's a classic Sonny Boy riff?
Oh, a classic Sonny Boy riff. Let me get one, Tommy. Hang on. Harmonica, that is. There we go. Just check it's not.
So what have you you got to get a special art for it?
No, it's just I'm trying to think of something that he'd play in. He was fantastic. Probably the most underrated of all the big guys. The harp players now realise that what he used to do was incredible, really. Very different style from the likes of Little Walter. You always heard sort of Walter, with a sort of a bullet mic and amped up and this sort of thick, warm sound with a little bit of echo and stuff on it. And of course, Sonny Boy was always at a sort of vocal mic with the harp. So he was a rather different sound. But what was Sonny Boy? Kind of shuffly sound, maybe. you know, lots of hand, that kind of thing, you know.
Because he's totally different to, was it Sonny Terry, wasn't he? So
oh yeah, God, yeah.
That's a country style, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sonny. Yeah, I can't really do Sonny Terry. I'm not great at Sonny Terry, but it would be more of a that country style heart. I mean, Paul's the king of that, and Paul Lamb.
Is that like in and out, sort of breathing in and breathing out? Is
that kind of not my forte really, but you know.
that style is, yeah, it's quite mad. Is that in first position or second? That Sonny stuff?
That's cross, yeah. When you that's cross heart. So Sonny Terry, I mean, sort of. I think generally most of the recordings of playing with Brownie McGee, he was probably. I know Paul sort of likes the A harmonica, playing in the key of E, so it's cross heart when he's doing that kind of chugging rhythm stuff, you know. Yeah, it's country heart, country style. You know, it's great. It's lovely here. You know, it so goes way back and so traditional. That rhythmic playing and stuff. The likes of Deford Bailey are harp players in the 1920s. You know,
right.
Recording then and doing those train rhythms. You know, stuff like that. So it's a really vintage style. You know, that's still got massive appeal to harmonica players who want to learn how to do it, you know.
So how does Sonny Terry 1 fit into it? Not Sonny Terry, Sonny Boy 1. The first.
Sonny Boy 1, well, John Lee Williamson, Sonny Boy 1, really, you can't, to me, you can't pay tribute to the likes of Little Walter, who was probably the, you know, in most people's opinion, mine included, the greatest harmonica player ever, but he was influenced, without doubt, by John Lee, Sonny Boy 1, you know.
Right, okay.
On the early recordings, I think, with Muddy Waters, where you can hear him, he's playing acoustic back in the harp, Little Walter. He, on some of those tracks, he's playing very much in the style of John Lee, you know, Sonny Boy 1.
And did he work with Big Joe Turner? I know he worked with loads of people, but...
Yeah, I'm not sure,
because I think I listened to an album the other day, and I'm sure it said Sonny Boy the First was on a couple of the tracks with Big Joe Turner, but I'm not. I have to go back and look myself. But
yeah, I mean that'd been as interesting you say about that. There was I was listening to an interview, and they were speaking about George Smith, who was a guy that sort of mentored Rob Piazza and William Clark on the big chromatic harmonica, the third position stuff, you know. And he had some recording time, I think, with Big Joe Turner, George Smith, and he said that he didn't feel that. He said this to Rob Piazza. He didn't feel that Big Joe Turner liked harmonica. Don't forget, Joe Turner worked with horns and stuff.
Yeah.
So having a harp player might not have been his first choice, but maybe back then, you know, sort of early days. Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. And what about William Clark then? How does he fit into the picture?
Unbelievable. He's to me, when I heard him, I just thought, I mean, there aren't many, you know, that come along after you think you've heard the best of it all, you know. And that guy was just, I thought, you know, put a spanner in the works really for everyone. He was innovative. His sound was unbelievable. He had it all, you know. And again, you know, he was a guy that toyed with guitar first before harmonica. So he actually set out in blues, trying to be a guitarist.
Oh, so it's out for me yet then.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Yeah, it's just incredible, you know. So he took up harp. I believe he was in his teens, maybe late teens when he started playing harp, and he obviously, you know, he hit the ground running. But he was just, one of those, whatever he recorded, just sounded unbelievable, just lovely to hear it, and it makes you want to pick it up and play it. He just had a superb,
Who was his influences?
George Smith, obviously, as far as the chromatic was concerned,
Right.
I believe he was listening to players like, now would it have been, and working with players like, I think Pete. I don't want to get any names wrong here. The sure influence on the chromatic was George Smith, and he worked with him. George Smith, according to Bill Clark, showed him around on the chromatic.
And who are you thinking, Pee Wee? What?
I was going to say Creighton, but I could be getting mixed up there. I think Kim Wilson, when he was playing harp as a young guy, he was working and playing clubs with those guys at that time. So it sounds a bit. Clark sounds a bit late. Bill Clark to maybe have been doing that, but I could be wrong. It could be the likes of Pee Wee Creighton, that he got to work with as well.
So, do you have any other hobbies?
No, going to work really, Tommy, these days.
Is it? And what do you do in your spare time then when you're not playing?
Playing's about it. Yeah.
Is it?
I'm not a keen gardener.
Do you read any books?
I'd rather have a beer and watch TV than do the gardening. So.
You reading any books? Any books?
I read a book. I'm reading a book at the moment called The Secrets of Bletchley Park. They were the people in the code breakers in the war. So I like non-fiction if I read. Okay. I'm quite into the old World War stories and stuff like that, true life stories. So I watch documentaries if I watch TV rather than EastEnders or something like that. So anything factual. What'd
be your desert island? What'd be your desert island disc?
My desert island disc, I'd say, if I was shoved on an island. I always wonder about this. What happens if you haven't got a record player and you're on this desert island?
You have to learn to sing it.
Probably my favourite. It'd have to be someone that I could listen to all night and day forever. So I'd say it wouldn't be a Chicago blues man or probably blues. I'd say it'd have to be favourite singer to me, probably Sam Cooke.
Okay.
And the track would be no backing instruments, just vocals. He did in the early days with his band, the Soul Stirrers. He did an a cappella track called "Jesus Gave Me Water," and that's the Bible in how to sing.
Yeah, is that with Bobby Womack and that? Because I've got a double CD thing, I think, of Sam Cooke and in the early days.
If you go, it's on there. Yeah, I think he had the album they brought out not so many years back was the best of Sam Cooke and a sort of double. It's on there, but I think that would probably be it. That or a little water track, maybe. If I had a harp with me on the island.
What's your best piece of advice you've been given?
Been given?
Yeah.
A best piece of advice been given is probably, as far as harmonica goes, make every note count, which is quite funny. You can play the thing for years and you never stop learning, as you know, with guitar, and it's almost like I forever seem to be going back and back rather than forward, listening to people, from further back all the time, or so these guys now that have been around for years, that's still cool. Friend of mine, another influence of mine. I've probably got as many UK influences on harmonica as American as well.
That's good.
Going back to when I started the Red Lion, my harmonica playing mates were guys I met there, and I got to meet, through Lee. Obviously, I met Paul through Lee Sankey, Paul Lamb, Steve Weston, the Blues Sonics. I used to come down to the jam, get up and perform, and my good mate, probably my best mate, Laurie Garman, who's been around forever playing harp. Laurie, There's not a lot you don't know about it, and there's probably not a blues disc or discography that he can't rattle off everything from the year it was done, where it's recorded, who it was. And he's a knowledgeable blues player, so he's been a bit of an influence and a mentor to me. But advice, make every note count, I suppose. When I first started playing, you're kind of rushing through songs, playing 100 miles an hour, thinking it's cool and clever, and then making one sound good is is a good idea. Take your time, and get it right.
Well, what I normally do is a bit of a quick fire thing at the end, see how you get on. So let's have a look what we got here today. Logical creativity.
Creativity. I'm not logical.
Love or money?
Oh, love.
Impulsive or methodical?
Oh, impulsive. Rubbish, Do
you sing in the shower?
Yeah.
Inside the box or outside the box?
Outside the box, yeah.
Outside the box. That's great. That's great, Pete. Thank you very much.
Hey, mate. Tommy, you're welcome. It's great to see you.
But why don't you give us a bit of a play out?
Yeah. You hear that?
Yep. Beautiful. Well, look after yourself.
And you too, Tommy. Take care, mate. And I hope to see you when all this is done and dusted.
Well, we're not too far now, so definitely, yeah.
Cool. Excellent. All right, mate. Take care. Cheers, Tommy.
Cheers, Pete. Hey, it's Tommy Allen from TommyAllenMusic.com. And that was Pete Welland. It was good to chat with the man. Been many years since we've done that, so that was cool. Next week, we have Ian Seagull. Man has been nominated for many blues awards, so definitely come and check that out. Next Wednesday at 7 p.m. GMT. Please give us a like, hit the subscribe button. Until next week, a word from our director.